Welcome back. We are going to draw Santa Claus, this time for real, legit. It is that time of year, and I found this really cool picture that I thought would be a lot of fun. We're not really gonna do like a timed exercise, but I think I'm gonna keep it to a loose maybe 10 minutes and see how far we get with this very stylized Santa Claus. I love this guy's outfit. Uh, and he's got like, it looks like a sword and like he's all dressed up. I dig it a lot. I haven't seen a Santa like this before. So let's give it a try. I am working with, let me get onto my custom brushes here. I'm going to work with Jeff's Fine Pencil. You can find more information about these custom brushes down in the comments or in the description, down in the description. I've got a full set of custom brushes for Procreate, and I use them a lot in my commercial work. So I really enjoy them. I think they're pretty cool, and I think you might enjoy them as well. So give them a try. We're going to be using, like I said, Jeff's Fine Pencil, and we're just going to rough this guy in really quick. Let me see. We'll get some general proportions, and we may exaggerate. We're going to keep this extremely loose and playful. Oh, yes. Here we go. We're going to make him a bit more cartoony than he is here. Let's see, we want to keep this, gotta bring it down a little bit. I'm already crowding in on my space. Just like the shape of his hat is so much fun. It's so much fun. You can tell whoever designed this costume just had a blast. We're gonna go pretty wild with these shapes too. And maybe I'll make him a little stouter, a little more rotund than this guy is. That whoever this guy is, he is toned. That is a very muscular Santa Claus, which is pretty fun. But I'm gonna add maybe a little bit of weight. I won't get too crazy with it. And we're just gonna see how far we get with this. I'll make him a little bit, I'm running out of room. I'll make him a little bit shorter, I think, than he is in this image. And that torn cape, like that tells a story. What is going on there? And he's got some sort of a decorative leather bag going on here. And what is this on the side? I'm not quite sure what that is. But let's be sure to get his little, it might be like a little dagger. It doesn't look long enough to be like a full sword. And it looks like this is a breastplate, leather breastplate here. And then his tunic. And then the classic Santa boots. All right, and then we'll shrink this down to fit. go. All right, and then we'll lower this opacity and get a darker color here. Is this too small? No, I think that'll be fine. We'll go with this and start with the eyebrows and the face here. Oops. He's got such a character. My goodness, everything about him. The cheeks, and let's add maybe a little tuft of hair coming out of his hat. And I can't really see him, but I think there's maybe like a pine cone coming up here with his little decoration up on his hat. And I don't know who I learned this from, but sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in like all of the little tiny details if you're trying to draw absolutely everything. Like you're just going to fail. You can't. It is impossible to draw absolutely everything. You have to edit. So part of learning to be an artist is learning what can I still leave out and communicate what I need to communicate about this piece. And these little marks that I make occasionally here, like I just did here with that muscle here on the forearm, or like these little marks here in his beard, or up here in his cap. What I'm doing with that is just giving the impression of texture. Like this is not a smooth surface. There's something going on here, but I'm not going to, at least at this stage, I'm not going to take the time to draw all of that texture. I want to give the impression that there is something more there, but with this on a sketch level, I just want to convey the idea of this is fabric. And then it would be up to the viewer and their imagination. Like there's all kinds of detail here in this sword that I don't have the time to go and draw all of that, but I want to give the impression that there is like pieces of leather wrapped around here. And I think that will be enough, at least at this stage. And I don't know what that is beside him, but I'm not going to draw it. I'm just not going to draw it. We will leave that out for now. And I don't know what's going on here exactly, but I will give the impression of ornate markings here. There we go. And let's see, maybe some I don't know exactly what is going on with this shape here. So a lot of this, like, I just have to make up as I go along. Like, what is this shape? I'm not quite sure, but it kind of reminds me of a leaf. So it could be like a holly leaf. At least that's how I'm going to interpret it. And that's where artistic license comes into play. You know, the costume designer had certain intentions, and as I'm going through interpreting all of this, I'm just having fun. This is not a photograph. We're just having fun. There we go. That looks pretty good. And I also, it's an easy thing to get lost, especially with digital art, when you zoom in on little details and you kind of get sucked into what's happening in one little location, and you lose sight of the whole piece. So as much as possible, especially in the early stages, I enjoy zooming all the way out. I typically work at like 8.5 by 11 at 300 dpi within Procreate. This canvas is square, so it's 11 inches square at 300 dpi, and when I zoom all the way out, with 8.5 by 11, at least the size of iPad that I have, I believe it's the 12.9 inch iPad, it feels like I'm just drawing on a piece of copy paper. And I have a screen protector on here that gives it a little bit of texture, so it doesn't feel quite like I'm drawing on glass. It does a little bit, but it's not too bad. But just that size, keeping in mind that size and trying to zoom out and get the whole picture instead of getting caught up in all the little details is extremely helpful. Then it's easier to get the scale more accurately. And like I said, you don't get lost in the details. You are more mindful of the entire piece and not just the one little part that you're zoomed in on. And it's funny to me, like we talked about in a previous video, there is a little bit of like smoke and mirrors going on with illustration. You know, no matter how good you are as an artist, if you're photorealistic or if your style is more cartoony or like a comic book, no matter how good you are, like, you just can't draw all of the details. So you have to choose what you're going to edit out. And you do that a lot with the style of lines that you choose, like whether they're crisp or wavy or broken or all of that. And that all communicates different things. So if I'm trying to, like this texture here in his boots, drawing that with more of a broken line helps to convey the idea of that fluffy texture. Let's see here. I think we're coming up here on the end, and we'll call it good. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll call it there. That's Santa Claus in this really cool kind of Renaissance style. And I hope that you enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun to draw this character. And whoever designed this costume, you did an excellent, excellent job. That's going to do it for me. And I think I'll take a little pause on these videos and enjoy the holidays with some family. And I hope that you do too. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.